Welcome to Whisper Facts 101. Here is 101 interesting facts about Tesla's Autopilot. Tesla Autopilot doesn't use LiDAR. Unlike most autonomous systems, Elon Musk has publicly criticized LiDAR as crutch, instead relying on cameras and neural nets to process visual data like a human. This vision-based approach is controversial but uniquely ambitious, mimicking biological perception rather than relying on radar-like 3D mapping systems. When Tesla collects data from its fleet for autopilot improvements, it selectively pulls edge cases, rare or unpredictable scenarios like a car merging suddenly or a pedestrian jaywalking. These moments are flagged by AI, anonymized, and sent back to Tesla's training systems. So your weirdest driving moments might help teach the AI. Tesla's autopilot visualizations on the in-car display show far more than just other vehicles. They render traffic cones, garbage cans, lane lines, construction signs, speed bumps, motorcycles, pedestrians, and even open car doors. These visuals are generated in real time and provide a glimpse into what the neural net is actively thinking. Tesla's full self-driving FSD beta can make unprotected left turns, which are notoriously difficult for human drivers and even harder for AI. These turns require predictive modeling of multiple lanes, traffic speeds, and right-of-way judgments. Tesla's system tries to simulate eye contact and driver confidence by nudging forward slightly, just like people do. In 2021, a group of researchers discovered that placing small stickers on road signs could cause Tesla Autopilot to misread speed limits. A speed limit 35 sign could be interpreted as 85 if distorted properly. Though patched quickly, it highlighted the challenge of making AI distinguish between reality and clever deception. Tesla vehicles on autopilot can recognize and avoid potholes, but only if they've been previously mapped. The system uses fleet-collected data to tag road hazards and syncs this information across vehicles. As more Teslas drive over a problem area, the software refines the hazard profile and improves how future vehicles react. Autopilot does not currently use GPS as its primary source of navigation for real-time driving decisions. Instead, it relies almost entirely on its vision system and real-time neural network analysis. GPS is used for routing, but not lane positioning or obstacle detection, defying conventional wisdom in autonomous vehicle design. If you abruptly turn the steering wheel while autopilot is engaged, the system will immediately disengage. But if you slowly apply pressure, it allows partial override. This nuanced interaction is designed to give drivers intuitive control while maintaining safety. The way you touch the wheel tells the system your intent. Autopilot's driver monitoring system previously relied solely on torque sensors in the steering wheel to ensure driver engagement. But newer Tesla models also use an in-cabin camera to watch for signs of distraction, such as looking at a phone or dozing off. This marks a shift toward more aggressive driver accountability. One of the weirdest autopilot bugs occurred when Tesla's system mistook the moon for a yellow traffic light. This caused some vehicles to slow down or stop at random on clear nights. Engineers later adjusted the software to account for celestial objects, but the glitch showed how difficult vision-based AI can be to perfect. Tesla Autopilot uses a neural network system, so massive it requires a dedicated in-house supercomputer named Dojo. This custom-built AI training machine processes millions of video clips from Tesla's global fleet to teach the system how to handle edge cases. Tesla claims Dojo can eventually outperform any cloud-based solution for autonomy training. Despite its name, Tesla's full self-driving isn't fully autonomous under regulatory standards. The system is still classified as Level 2 autonomy, meaning the driver must remain alert and ready to take control. Yet the name has sparked ongoing debates among legal experts and regulators, who claim it overpromises what the system can do. Tesla's autopilot is constantly learning, but not just from its own car. When one Tesla encounters an unusual driving situation and the driver intervenes, that event is marked for review. If enough Teslas experience the same scenario, it becomes a learning priority. In effect, your mistakes become collective machine lessons. In FSD beta, Tesla vehicles sometimes exhibit what engineers call ghost braking, a behavior where the car slows down for no apparent reason. This often happens due to shadows, overpasses, or even oddly shaped road signs. Tesla is working to minimize these false positives, which can be dangerous on high-speed roads. Tesla Autopilot can detect emergency vehicles, but only after an embarrassing lapse. In early versions, the system had trouble identifying flashing lights, leading to accidents involving parked fire trucks and police cruisers. The system now includes special training for strobing lights, reflective decals, and unusual vehicle shapes specific to emergency scenes. Some Tesla vehicles have reacted to imaginary objects, known as phantom obstacles, where the car sees something that isn't there and stops suddenly. These hallucinations are rare but alarming, often caused by odd lighting, reflective surfaces, or sensor confusion. It's one of the hardest problems to solve in vision-based autonomy. Tesla's Navigate on Autopilot feature not only follows highway lanes, but can also suggest lane changes based on traffic flow and speed. The decision isn't just based on speed limits. It considers acceleration patterns, historical congestion data, and the likelihood of exits. The system is trying to drive like a local. Teslas on FSD Beta can recognize hand gestures from pedestrians. If someone holds out their hand to stop traffic, the system will often yield, even without a stop sign. This is an emerging field of social driving, where the car attempts to interpret nonverbal cues like eye contact or body language. In dense urban settings, Tesla's Autopilot uses a process called occupancy networks to create a 3D model of the surrounding space, including parked cars, curbs, cyclists, and pedestrians, even if they're partially obscured. This 3D awareness allows the car to make smoother lane decisions and avoid hugging obstacles too closely. Tesla once released a beta version of FSD on Halloween weekend, which caused confusion when vehicles had trouble recognizing costumes, masks, and inflatable lawn decorations. The system misclassified some costumed children as adults or obstacles. It was a rare public demonstration of how fragile AI perception can be during unpredictable scenarios. Tesla Autopilot has a feature called traffic light and stop sign control, which enables the car to recognize and respond to red lights and stop signs. However, early versions would come to a full stop even when unnecessary, like when there was no intersection or sign nearby, due to confusion from faded road markings or ambiguous signage. This behavior caused delays and unexpected stops, which Tesla gradually fine-tuned with neural feedback loops to reduce overcautious behavior without compromising safety. Tesla's Autopilot can actually predict the movement of other vehicles, not just track them. Using AI models trained on millions of real-world driving situations, the system anticipates acceleration, deceleration, and lane changes of surrounding cars. This allows it to make smoother merges or maintain safer following distances. It's not just reacting, it's forecasting, often more patiently than human drivers. The cabin-facing camera used for driver monitoring in Teslas can detect where you're looking, even if you're wearing sunglasses. By tracking head tilt, blink frequency, and gaze duration, the system determines whether you're paying attention to the road. If it senses distraction, it will chime or even disengage autopilot. Some drivers found this intrusive, but Tesla considers it essential for safety during semi-autonomous driving. Tesla engineers found that certain types of bug splatter or windshield glare could reduce the camera's ability to recognize lane lines, especially on highways. This led to the development of specialized cleaning nozzles and software compensation techniques. In some cases, the system will alert the driver to clean the windshield if visual clarity drops below a specific threshold. Tesla's Autopilot logs include a metric called intervention rate, which measures how often a human driver has to take over control. Internally, Tesla uses this to evaluate how close they are to full autonomy. In early FSD beta builds, this rate was over 1 per mile in complex city driving. Newer versions have drastically reduced intervention frequency, but even Tesla admits the metric fluctuates depending on the location and driver behavior. Tesla uses a process called shadow mode to test new autopilot features without turning them on. In this mode, The system silently watches and logs what it would have done during a real-world drive without actually taking control. Engineers then compare its hypothetical actions to the human driver's choices. It's like giving the AI homework after every drive. In some unusual edge cases, Tesla's Autopilot has mistaken murals or painted images for real objects. One driver reported the car trying to slow down in front of a painted tunnel on a wall, reminiscent of a cartoon scene. This happened because the neural net perceived depth and shadow cues, not realizing it was a flat surface. Tesla later improved its visual recognition to distinguish between art and reality. When driving under bridges or overpasses, early versions of Autopilot often braked unexpectedly, thinking the structure ahead was an obstacle. These false positives, known as bridge panic, were caused by camera confusion due to shadow contrast and lack of vertical context. Tesla adjusted its training data by specifically feeding it thousands of bridge scenarios to desensitize the AI. Tesla Autopilot can detect and respond to road debris, like a fallen branch, tire tread, or cardboard box, but not always correctly. While it can usually swerve or slow down, the system struggles to determine what's dangerous. For example, it might avoid a harmless paper bag but fail to recognize a sharp metal object. This highlights the difficulty of real-time risk assessment in autonomous driving. Autopilot sometimes struggles with construction zones, especially when temporary lane markings conflict with permanent ones. The system can become visually confused, following the old lines instead of the new path. Tesla added orange cone detection and flashing light prioritization to address this, but human intervention is still frequently required in complex work zones where rules deviate from standard traffic patterns. Tesla Autopilot's neural network includes a behavior prediction model trained to estimate whether a pedestrian is likely to cross the street. It uses posture, walking speed, limb angle, and gaze direction to make this judgment. If the pedestrian is looking at their phone and walking fast, Autopilot slows down early, even before they enter the road. Autopilot performance can vary significantly between U.S. states due to road markings, signage design, and traffic law differences. For example, California's well-marked lanes make it ideal for training data, while rural roads in Mississippi or Montana sometimes confuse the system due to faded lines or unconventional signage. Tesla even tailors regional behavior models for such variations. In Tesla's FSD beta, the car not only obeys traffic laws, it sometimes disobeys them like a human would, but only when doing so improves safety. For example, it might cautiously roll a stop sign on a hill to gain better visibility, just as a cautious driver might. This controversial approach is known internally as intelligent noncompliance. Tesla Autopilot uses something called lane anchoring. It doesn't just follow lines. It anchors the car's position to stable lane features using AI-predicted geometry. Even when lane markings disappear, it can predict where the road likely continues based on context. This helps the car stay centered even on poorly maintained roads or gravel patches. One peculiar bug in early Autopilot versions caused Tesla vehicles to suddenly veer when encountering certain kinds of roadside mailboxes. These boxes cast long shadows that the system misinterpreted as obstacles. After multiple incidents, engineers trained the neural net specifically on thousands of mailbox images, making it one of the most educated objects in Tesla's object catalog. Tesla's Autopilot doesn't just avoid obstacles, it calculates trajectory risk. If a cyclist is approaching from behind at high speed, the system evaluates their projected path and adjusts merge timing accordingly. This forward-planning behavior is modeled on chess-style prediction, where every nearby object's future position is evaluated several seconds ahead. Tesla's AI has struggled with weather conditions like snow and heavy rain, which can obscure lane markings and reduce camera clarity. Unlike LiDAR-based systems, Tesla's camera-first design can be blinded by condensation or glare. Tesla developed a special training data set using synthetic snow overlays to teach the system how roads look during winter, even if it's summer in California. When you disengage Autopilot by touching the brakes, the vehicle logs exactly what happened, including speed, surroundings, and what it saw. This data is then flagged and potentially reviewed by Tesla engineers to determine if the system behaved incorrectly or if the driver panicked unnecessarily. Every disengagement becomes a micro-lesson in machine learning. Autopilot includes an assertiveness setting where drivers can choose between chill, average, and assertive driving modes. In assertive mode, the car will follow more closely, perform quicker lane changes, and be more aggressive in unprotected turns. While this makes the system more human-like, it also generates more disengagements and borderline traffic maneuvers. Tesla has discovered that some drivers abuse autopilot by placing weights on the steering wheel to fake attentiveness. In response, newer models cross-reference steering input with eye-tracking data from the cabin camera. If inconsistencies are detected, like your eyes off the road but the wheel's still tugging, autopilot disables itself for the rest of the trip. Tesla Autopilot doesn't explicitly recognize animals like deer, raccoons, or dogs in most cases. Instead, it treats them as unclassified moving objects and reacts based on their size and trajectory. This means a large dog might get the same treatment as a small child, while a bird might be ignored entirely. Tesla continues to train its AI to distinguish between species, but wild animal detection remains one of the system's least predictable features. The autopilot system experiences a rare but quirky issue known as double ghosting, where the car sees an object twice, once where it is and once where it might go. This often happens with semi-transparent or reflective objects, like glass trucks or metal barriers. The neural net then tries to avoid both ghosts, leading to awkward swerves or hesitation. It's one of the strangest perception bugs and is still being debugged. Tesla Autopilot struggles with drive-through lanes. Because these areas often lack formal lane lines, have unpredictable pedestrian movement, and involve tight turns around buildings, the car becomes overly cautious or confused. Some drivers report the car attempting to park itself mid-order or refusing to move forward. Autopilot is officially disabled in these areas for now, though training data is still collected. There's an unofficial internal nickname among Tesla engineers for Autopilot's hesitation in busy intersections, robot anxiety. It describes the car's reluctance to make unprotected turns or navigate aggressive merges. Unlike humans who might inch forward or take a calculated risk, Autopilot often waits until all conditions are ideal, sometimes resulting in long, awkward pauses. Tesla Autopilot uses a technique called temporal stacking, where video frames are layered and analyzed together to help the system understand motion over time. This allows the AI to distinguish between a moving object and a stationary one, even if they look similar in a single frame, like a stopped bus versus a parked one. The system's sense of motion isn't just spatial, it's cinematic. Tesla has experimented with using synthetic data to teach Autopilot how to drive in conditions that are rare in California, such as icy roads or dust storms. This fake footage is computer-generated but fed into the same neural network as real-world data. The goal is to prepare the AI for global deployment, even in places where Tesla has few real-world examples. Autopilot systems can now recognize open car doors on parked vehicles, a capability added after several incidents where Teslas nearly hit doors being opened into traffic. The system uses edge detection and contrast analysis to determine whether a parked vehicle is changing state, such as when its door swings open or its lights flash. One of the strangest data sources Tesla uses to improve autopilot is failure. If a Tesla gets into an accident or is part of a near miss, it becomes a training priority. Engineers build simulations of the crash in virtual environments, testing dozens of alternate decisions to see which would have avoided it, essentially letting the AI regret and learn. Tesla's cars equipped with FSD beta have occasionally been filmed stopping for red traffic lights projected onto road surfaces, like those used in certain cities for futuristic ambience or advertising. Because the system interprets red circles as stop, these projections were seen as real lights. Tesla has since updated its system to detect projection sources and ignore them. In certain conditions, Autopilot can recognize hand gestures from police officers directing traffic, but only if the gestures fall within pre-trained movement patterns. For example, an arm raised vertically might be recognized as a stop command, but more nuanced or regional gestures are often missed. Tesla has flagged this limitation in its development roadmap. Tesla Autopilot has shown unexpected difficulty in recognizing school buses, particularly when stopped with flashing lights. In earlier versions, the system sometimes hesitated or failed to stop appropriately, prompting Tesla to create specific training modules for school bus behavior. These include recognition of extended stop signs, strobe patterns, and rear red indicators, all treated as high-priority safety cues in newer updates. Tesla's system has trouble identifying potholes in real time unless they've already been mapped by other vehicles. It does not rely on traditional depth sensors, but instead uses vision and probabilistic modeling. In some cases, potholes are misclassified as shadows. Tesla is working to implement real-time fleet learning so cars can automatically share pothole locations, but full accuracy remains a challenge. In rare cases, Tesla Autopilot can be temporarily blinded by car wash brushes. The cameras mounted around the car are unable to see clearly when soap, foam, or fast-moving bristles obscure their lenses. If Autopilot is accidentally activated inside an automated wash, it can misinterpret the environment as chaotic traffic and attempt to escape or emergency stop. Tesla Autopilot doesn't recognize railroad crossings with full reliability unless warning lights or barriers are active. In some cases, the system has slowed for stationary trains but failed to interpret inactive tracks properly. Tesla has added a rail cross visual classifier, but drivers are still warned to remain especially vigilant at train intersections, especially in rural areas. The FSD beta system sometimes imitates overly polite driving habits, which can confuse human drivers. For example, the Tesla may yield at an unmarked intersection even when it has the right-of-way, causing hesitation loops with other vehicles. Engineers call this the Canadian driver bug, where the AI becomes too courteous in uncertain social traffic scenarios. Tesla's Autopilot can navigate roundabouts, but only under very specific conditions. In real-world testing, many roundabouts confuse the system due to inconsistent signage, improper lane markings, and merging behavior. Some Teslas loop around continuously if they miss the correct exit. Tesla has created dedicated training datasets just for roundabouts to improve accuracy and lane prediction. Autopilot sometimes slows when approaching trucks with large advertisements or murals painted on them. In several cases, the AI misinterpreted a still image, such as a graphic of a pedestrian, as a real object. These decal ghosts force Tesla to refine how it filters two-dimensional data and uses depth cues to determine object authenticity. Tesla's camera system occasionally overreacts to blinking Christmas lights or animated inflatables during holiday season night drives. The AI sometimes interprets flashing lights as emergency signals or perceives motion where there is none, causing it to brake or slow unexpectedly. Holiday decorations have become one of the more unusual challenges in the neural net's training. FSD Beta once misinterpreted a man wearing a reflective Halloween costume as a traffic cone and refused to move forward. The neural network had been trained extensively on road construction equipment, but not on costumed pedestrians mimicking cones. Tesla later added more non-standard object categories into its dataset to deal with unpredictable human dress. Some Tesla drivers have reported Autopilot reacting differently to identical intersections depending on the direction of approach. This is due to how Tesla's software remembers intersections using GPS-linked behavior history. If more disengagements happen from one angle, the system becomes more conservative at that entry point, essentially learning the reputation of specific street corners. Tesla's Autopilot software includes a specialized module for recognizing and responding to construction zones. This module identifies orange cones, temporary lane markings, and flashing warning signs. However, construction sites remain one of the most difficult environments for Autopilot, with frequent driver disengagements due to ambiguous or rapidly changing conditions that challenge the system's adaptability. The system's shadow mode allows Tesla to run experimental versions of Autopilot on millions of vehicles without activating the features in real time. This means Tesla gathers data on how new algorithms will perform in the background, silently comparing AI decisions against human driving. This approach accelerates learning and testing without risking safety on public roads. Tesla Autopilot has been known to incorrectly classify certain roadside animals, such as peacocks or flamingos, which appear in private properties near roadways in some regions. These rare false positives cause the vehicle to brake unexpectedly or swerve slightly. The AI is continually retrained with new images to reduce such confusion, but exotic animals remain edge cases. In urban environments, Tesla's system attempts to interpret social signals from pedestrians and cyclists, like when someone looks at the car or gestures. It does this using deep learning models that infer intention, an extremely challenging AI problem. Success is partial. The system sometimes misreads cues, resulting in overly cautious or premature stops. The autopilot's lane detection can fail under certain sun glare angles, particularly at sunrise or sunset. Direct sunlight reflecting off the asphalt or paint can confuse cameras, causing the system to momentarily lose lane tracking. Tesla advises drivers to maintain vigilance during these times, and engineers continue to develop glare-resistant camera algorithms. Tesla vehicles share anonymized data via over-the-air updates, allowing improvements to propagate rapidly worldwide. This fleet learning model helps Tesla respond to emerging road hazards, new traffic patterns, or tricky intersections. When a single Tesla encounters an unusual scenario and handles it, that experience is transmitted to every other car in the network to boost collective intelligence. Some drivers have discovered that Tesla Autopilot can detect temporary speed limit changes, such as those on variable digital signs used in roadworks or congested highways. The system reads and obeys these dynamic limits, often faster than human drivers can react, demonstrating the potential of AI to adapt instantly to changing traffic regulations. Autopilot occasionally encounters problems with highly reflective surfaces, such as wet roads or shiny metal barriers. These surfaces can create mirror-like effects that confuse the neural net, resulting in erratic steering or braking. Tesla's engineers have incorporated specialized filters in the AI to minimize these reflections' impact, though occasional glitches still occur. Tesla's autopilot system uses radar alongside cameras and ultrasonic sensors, but the radar is primarily employed to supplement the vision system during poor weather. In fact, recent Tesla models have moved toward vision-only operation, removing radar sensors altogether. This shift highlights Tesla's confidence in camera-based perception despite the challenges it entails. Tesla's Autopilot has a driver profile feature that customizes behavior based on individual driving styles. For example, some drivers prefer a more cautious approach, while others select more assertive lane changes and acceleration. The system adapts gradually to reflect these preferences, creating a semi-personalized autonomous driving experience tailored to the user. Tesla's Autopilot was trained using a mix of supervised learning and reinforcement learning, meaning the AI not only learns from labeled examples, but also experiments with actions and simulations to discover better driving strategies. This hybrid approach enables the system to improve decision-making in novel, complex traffic situations without explicit human guidance. The company's fleet data collection includes shadow mode runs where Autopilot silently watches the driver's behavior and simulates how it would respond. These simulated runs help Tesla identify gaps in AI knowledge and improve the system without risking real-world errors. Shadow mode is considered one of Tesla's most valuable tools for scaling autonomy. Tesla Autopilot's object detection model is regularly updated to recognize new categories of objects based on real-world incidents. For example, after multiple close calls with scooters and electric bikes, Tesla added specific recognition for these smaller, fast-moving vehicles. The dataset continues to evolve with emerging urban mobility trends. Tesla engineers found that drivers who use Autopilot for longer trips tend to become over-reliant, occasionally engaging in unsafe behaviors like watching videos or falling asleep. To combat this, Tesla's driver monitoring system has been upgraded to detect signs of drowsiness or distraction, issuing alerts and eventually disengaging Autopilot if needed to prioritize safety. Tesla Autopilot's neural network can sometimes hallucinate or misinterpret shadows, reflections, or ambiguous objects as solid obstacles. One famous example involved a shadow cast by a bridge being perceived as a large stationary vehicle, causing unnecessary braking. These hallucinations reveal the challenges of vision-based autonomy in unpredictable real-world environments. Tesla has developed specialized AI models for recognizing ghost objects, phantom entities that appear due to sensor noise or environmental factors. By cross-referencing multiple camera angles and sensor inputs, the system filters out these false positives, reducing unexpected braking and steering reactions that could confuse drivers or other road users. The Autopilot software has a built-in mechanism to detect driver takeover hesitation, which measures how quickly a driver responds when prompted to take control. If the driver reacts too slowly, the system issues escalating alerts and may disable autopilot temporarily. This feature aims to maintain driver engagement and prevent accidents caused by inattentiveness. Tesla's FSD beta introduced the ability to interpret hand signals from other drivers, such as a wave to proceed or a hand stop gesture. This capability is based on deep learning models trained on thousands of video clips. While impressive, it remains limited in scope and is continuously refined to avoid misinterpretation. Autopilot can struggle in rural or unmarked roads due to a lack of lane markings and GPS data. In these scenarios, the system often defaults to conservative behavior, slowing significantly or disengaging. Tesla is actively training its AI to better handle off-grid driving, but full autonomy on unstructured roads remains a distant goal. Tesla's Navigate on Autopilot feature is designed to automatically suggest and execute lane changes on highways to optimize route efficiency. However, it respects the principle of do no harm by only making maneuvers when it is confident in safety, causing occasional missed opportunities or slower routes to avoid risky situations. Tesla's Autopilot neural networks are trained on a diverse dataset that includes not only normal driving scenarios, but also rare, dangerous, or unusual situations. This edge case training enables the system to recognize and respond to uncommon events like emergency vehicles blocking lanes, debris falling off trucks, or sudden pedestrian darting, increasing real-world robustness. Tesla has an over-the-air update system that allows Autopilot software improvements to be pushed remotely to vehicles worldwide. This means that a bug found in Europe can be fixed and deployed to cars in the US within days, vastly speeding up the evolution of Autopilot's capabilities without requiring dealer visits or recalls. The Autopilot system's camera suite includes 8 cameras positioned around the car to provide 360-degree visibility. Each camera has a specific purpose, such as long-range forward detection, side blind spot coverage, or rear view. The fusion of these multiple video streams allows the neural net to build a comprehensive model of the vehicle's surroundings in real time. Tesla Autopilot uses ultrasonic sensors around the car for close-range detection, especially useful during parking maneuvers and low-speed obstacle avoidance. These sensors supplement a camera system and provide detailed spatial awareness within a few feet, detecting curbs, walls, and low obstacles that might not be visible to cameras. In 2020, Tesla began shipping vehicles with a Hardware 3 computer, a custom AI chip designed specifically for autonomous driving workloads. This chip dramatically improves processing speed and power efficiency compared to previous versions, enabling more complex neural net architectures to run locally on the car without relying heavily on cloud computing. Tesla Autopilot has a feature called Auto Lane Change that allows the vehicle to change lanes autonomously when activated by the driver or navigation system. However, the system only initiates lane changes after evaluating traffic speed, distance, and driver behavior in surrounding vehicles, ensuring the maneuver is smooth and safe. Some Tesla drivers have reported that Autopilot sometimes brakes for shadows cast by overpasses or bridges, a phenomenon known as shadow braking. Engineers have addressed this by retraining neural networks on large datasets, including various lighting and shadow conditions to reduce false braking events caused by shadows. Tesla's Autopilot system does not currently rely on high-definition maps to navigate. Instead, it uses real-time perception from cameras and sensors to interpret road geometry, signs, and traffic conditions. This vision-first approach contrasts with many other autonomous vehicle systems, which use pre-mapped data extensively for navigation. Tesla vehicles equipped with autopilot can perform automated parking in certain situations. The system can detect parking spaces and maneuver the car into them with minimal driver input. This feature, called AutoPark, uses a combination of ultrasonic sensors and cameras to precisely measure space and control steering and acceleration. Tesla's autopilot hardware and software are continuously tested in real-world traffic scenarios involving complex urban environments, highways, and rural roads. The fleet data helps improve performance across varied conditions, including weather, lighting, and traffic density. Continuous learning from diverse driving experiences accelerates system maturity and safety. Tesla Autopilot's driver monitoring system has evolved to include real-time eye tracking via the cabin camera, which helps ensure that the driver remains attentive while the system is engaged. This technology reduces accidents caused by driver distraction by issuing alerts or disengaging autopilot if attention lapses, marking a significant safety enhancement. In some unusual cases, Tesla's autopilot has confused large shadows or cloud formations for physical obstacles, causing abrupt braking or evasive maneuvers. These errors, while rare, highlight the challenge of visual perception in AI, where environmental factors beyond the system's control can produce false positives that affect ride smoothness and safety. Tesla uses fleet learning extensively. Data from every car on the road is anonymized, aggregated, and used to improve autopilot algorithms globally. This massive real-time dataset includes millions of miles driven, rare incident footage, and driver interactions, allowing Tesla to refine AI models faster than competitors who rely on limited test fleets. Tesla Autopilot software updates sometimes change the feel of the car's steering and braking responsiveness. These drive feel tweaks are calibrated to provide smoother control and more natural reactions, but they can confuse drivers expecting consistent behavior. Tesla gathers user feedback and driving data to optimize these settings over time. Tesla's FSD beta program expands to new regions gradually, often starting with select cities where road conditions and traffic patterns are better suited for the AI's current capabilities. This controlled rollout helps mitigate risk while collecting region-specific data to adapt the system to diverse urban environments worldwide. One of Tesla Autopilot's strangest quirks is its occasional phantom braking, sudden deceleration without visible cause. This is often triggered by shadows, sensor noise, or reflective surfaces. Tesla actively monitors and updates its software to minimize phantom braking, which remains one of the most challenging problems in real-world autonomous driving. The company uses simulation environments extensively to test Autopilot's responses to hypothetical scenarios that are too dangerous or rare to recreate in real life. These digital twins allow Tesla engineers to train AI on crash avoidance, emergency maneuvers, and unpredictable human behavior in a controlled, repeatable way. Tesla Autopilot incorporates adaptive cruise control that dynamically adjusts speed based on traffic flow and road conditions. Unlike traditional cruise control, it uses multiple sensors to maintain safe distances and smooth acceleration or deceleration, mimicking human driver anticipation rather than simply reacting to the car ahead. The in-car display visualization of Autopilot's perception is generated by a deep learning model that interprets raw camera and sensor data into understandable shapes, colors, and objects for the driver. This transparency helps users trust the system by showing them what the AI sees and how it plans to navigate the environment. Tesla's autopilot algorithms include ethical decision-making components designed to prioritize safety and minimize harm in unavoidable accident scenarios. Though controversial, these frameworks aim to guide the car's choices when facing split-second dilemmas, reflecting an early attempt to codify moral reasoning into AI driving behavior. Finally, Tesla continues to push the boundaries by aiming for Level 5 full autonomy, a system that requires no human intervention in any environment. While current autopilot features remain at Level 2, the company's aggressive data collection, AI improvements, and hardware advancements position Tesla as one of the most ambitious players in the race for true self-driving cars.